road trip.
Plan definitely evolved.
What has been the hardest thing about starting up our journey so The last few months have been super crazy around here. We've gotten pigs, we've gone away for a week each, and so we just haven't had time to get around to those questions that you guys asked us and we promised to answer on our vlog. So today we're heading up to get a couch up from Canberra. We're doing a bit of a road trip and we thought along the way we might answer some of those questions that you guys have been itching to know. This is both our first time going out this way. I'm pretty excited to see Canberra for the first time. I know Sam's pretty excited to see the Brown Mountains.
Well, when we moved here because it's where the mountains meet the ocean. And we haven't checked out the mountains yet. We've been spending all our time at the ocean, so I'm very excited.
There's just been so much to see around us that we haven't actually even had the chance to step outside of the Bega Valley or even like our most immediate town. So this is pretty cool.
There's just so much.
There's so much.
Close by.
You wouldn't expect it. I mean, people usually think that out towards the country or anywhere else there wouldn't be much around, but the south coast is packed. There's lots of beautiful natural things to see as well as shops and restaurants. There's all kinds of things. You just gotta open your eyes and seek them. Are we going to be doing some of our questions while we're driving?
I was thinking we could like stop over at a nice view. We're about to go up a mountain, so there's got to be a spot where we can stop for a second.
All right, what a tease, what a tease. You're gonna have to wait. More roadworks. Got it. All right, let's go. So Ina's question is first, and it's, are you still planning on building a yurt, or has the plan evolved?
Plan definitely evolved. It is always evolving depending on our situation and how reality tends to like join in. But yeah, so the plan is to look for a block of land that also might have a house on it, not just empty blocks of land. And that way we can be in the house for a period of time, then build the yurt, and then we have more opportunities as far as accommodation goes on our property. We can get woofers in, we can get family in, we can rent it out. We got a plethora of options.
Yeah, so we're still hoping to build a yurt, but we are still doing our research. We want to build with cob as well, recycled materials. So we've got homes at different stages, like you said, and different ideas. So the plan's always evolving, but at the end of the day, living in a yurt's like a dream.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the downside for us is there's no one in Australia that are building yurts from scratch and using Australian materials.
And also they're made out of plastic, so I mean it's kind of conflicting with our ideas of sustainability and buying things that are quality the first time round. So it's something that we're still like figuring out.
It kind of smashes headfirst into the affordable housing angle as well, because on one hand that's why we wanted to go into it, as well as how beautiful they are on the interior.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna roll with the blows, and when we have to make a decision, we're gonna make a decision at that time that's the best option for us.
Yeah. Too many ideas, not enough money and time.
Yeah.
we gotta settle on something eventually.
Cool.
Let's keep going.
Next location.
Tonwoods. this is a good question. All right. How do you prepare and what do you do before an emergency? So, this area that we live in has gone through a bushfire recently. It does go through flooding often when it does rain, which we've noticed the last little while.
Oh yeah.
So, how do we prepare on our property now, or like what things are in place that help us out?
Cool. So you guys all have seen the clearing that we've been doing. Those are all things that are completely in the interest of fire safety, keeping all the brush and stuff as far back from the house as possible.
But also just planting different plants and trees which reduce fire spreading and embers flying, and also having more rocks and cacti, things that are going to prevent fire from jumping to the house.
Yeah, lots of fire retardant plants is definitely going to be part of our plan. But also this is a great segue into why we got the pigs as well, because they're going to help us clear out this stuff so we don't have to go in there and do it by hand.
Do it ourselves, yeah, of course.
Yeah, the other thing is that we also have a fire pump as well, which is hooked up into our water tank, and it's actually a law in New South Wales that you have to have a reserve of water on your property at all times. So we just have that fire pump ready to go. The other thing as well is that we actually have a lot of farmland buffering us from the forest areas. So that doesn't protect us completely, obviously, but it gives us quite a bit of warning, unless obviously a fire starts in our very local area. If there is a fire in the ranges, there's going to be a lot of notice, and we have a lot of different avenues to escape.
As far as the floods go, we are up high in our valley, so while the bottom sections of the valley get flooded, we're quite high, so the water just doesn't quite reach us. If anything, it runs away from us to the rest of the valley. There's lots of groups on Facebook and emergency lines and contact. I think they text you when you're close to a bushfire area to let you know to evacuate. And so, like Sam said, there's lots of ways that we can take to actually get ourselves out of danger.
Yeah, and the only other thing to add is just when we start getting to those times of year where the fire danger is high, like we will just have things packed kind of ready to go in a way that if we do have to just get up and go, we just get up and go.
Another part of that question is, what do we do with the animals? What do we do with the gardens? And what things do we take with us?
The chooks can be transported in their chicken coop. So if there was a day that, you know, things were a bit sus and we might have to leave, we just wouldn't let the chooks out, and we would make sure that that coop is ready to go so that they're just straight onto the trailer and then strapped down.
Yeah.
And then the pigs would be a little bit more complicated, but whatever we would do to get them off, we would do it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we'd be able to allow ourselves to leave them behind, but we're not quite there yet, which is why we don't have millions of our animals.
We can only manage what we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as things like the garden, I mean, you can't really take that with you. Possessions at home, we've set up our lives and the types of people we are. We're not
Attached.
Yeah, we're not attached to objects and things. So in any case, I'm sure there'd be certain things that we would take with us, but anything inside the house is it's a loss that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like we would take a few things that we'd make sure we want to take on past that period of time, like
laptops, cameras,
guitar.
Yeah. But like, we're not going to be lugging our furniture into a trailer. Like, our priority will be anything that's alive on the property, and then second to that, if there's time, would be smaller things that we use a lot in our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That mean a lot to us.
Yeah. It's a really important question to think about, and it's only going to, like, our answer is just going to change as we become more aware of the things we need to look after and to do, and also our location and the different dangers that come with that, or advantages.
Absolutely. It's something that you always got to think about. As big as you thought it would be?
Yeah. Got our couch ready to go.
We're excited now that we've seen it.
It's huge. I don't know if it'll fit in our house.
It'll fit.
We measure things out, so it should fit, but I guess, yeah, just don't know. Fit into the trailer like a glove. Okay, so this one's from Steph, and the question is, what has been the hardest thing about starting up our journey so far?
Being apart for 5.5 months. Yeah, just like easy, next.
So if you didn't know, if you haven't been watching the channel for a while, Sam moved up to New South Wales in June. I was still finishing off my teaching contract, so I was bound to Victoria up until December, and then I moved up then. So that was a good 6 months. And lucky for us, it was right during a pandemic, which meant a lockdown, and we couldn't see each other as we had hoped we would.
Yeah, that was brutal. Like, we'd originally planned, and like we'd hyped each other up for the idea that, you know, like school holidays and like every couple of weeks.
Come up every
like,
weekend.
Yeah, there's a plane, it'll be fine. Like, worst case scenario, it'll be, you know, we'll see each other once a month, you know?
Yeah.
And it was, 5.5 months straight without, it was really strange to like meet each other again after such a long time. Yeah. Even though that was the hardest thing though, like, it meant a lot of growth because as individuals we're able to go away in the middle of our relationship and really build on ourselves. Yeah, and then when we came back together, even though it was really hard and it was one of the most difficult things we've ever had to do in our relationship, we ended up so much stronger and better together because like now, you know, if you know one of us isn't home or one of us is at work, the other one just has a bunch of stuff to do. I
think it really helped as well living with other people while we were apart. So not only were we able to grow on our own as individuals, but we were able to take tips and tricks that other people that we love in our life were able to teach us. And they're things that they probably don't even realize they taught us, but like our life has actually changed so much for the better. Is that a bird? Look at the bird.
It is a bird, yeah. Don't mind us, bird.
Alright, next question. Alex first says that he can see that we're enjoying where we are because we love camping, we love exploring, we've got lots of projects to be doing. But what about people that are used to living in the cities? People that are used to having restaurants and family and friends just around the corner. Do we think it would be boring for those kinds of people to live where we are?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. It depends what your interests are, really, because, I mean, where we do live is a tourist destination. Like, there are sections of where we live where you go for a drive, and I've even said it reminds me of like certain streets in Thailand that have all like the hotels in them and stuff like that. The beaches are beautiful, there are parks and walks everywhere, there are rivers, there are, you know, the reservoir. Like, it's a tourist destination, and the Bega Valley, particularly where we chose to be, that's a really big attraction for them to bring money into the community and stuff. So it's definitely designed to be appealing for people from the city to come and visit. It really depends what you want to do. If you love swimming and surfing and doing like active stuff like that, then you're going to have a ball, you know, depending on what time of year you come. If you love food, then there's kind of a movement happening right now, like across the world, where people are looking for high quality food and more intricate meals and more culture crossing and stuff like that.
Well, we come from Melbourne, so food has always been a really big drive for us to go to places, and there is plenty of that still here on the south coast. Like Sam said, it is a tourist destination and people come here for restaurants and food, as well as all of the beauty that nature has for you. Like, our beaches are just stunning. Like, every time we visit a new beach, because it's covered by trees as well as water and sand, like, it's just breathtaking. So there really is a lot that you can be doing and seeing, and most of the things you can go and see and enjoy is actually free, which makes it, I think, even better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, the things that we used to do when we lived in the city aren't that dissimilar to what we're doing now. Like, we love going to see movies, we love eating food, And we still travel to go do those things, but we did that in Melbourne anyway. We lived in the outer suburbs, so we travel 45 minutes to get particular food, and that's as far as we need to travel where we are now as well, to go see a movie or to do any of that kind of stuff. It's just we're driving through the countryside instead of the city.
Yep, it's all pretty much like normal life, except more beautiful in our eyes, in our opinion.
Yeah.
As far as home life goes though, I mean, we do have lots of projects that we're doing. We've got our animals, we've got firewood, we've got gardening, like all of that keeps us really busy. And I think the thing is, if you're going to move down here, naturally you do want to do those kinds of projects where you're improving your home.
Coming to the country has opened up more doors in that sense, because I personally was feeling very hemmed in the city, and now that we have space, I feel more motivated to go out and work in the yard and stuff, and it's just a much more pleasant environment for me to be in. Good for my mental health. So the whole time we were doing that, answering those questions, we've just had this little dude just sitting here the whole time, just watching us, just like, don't get any closer.
Weirdest audience member ever. We have our new couch all here. We did run out of daylight when we were recording our video. And you know those roadworks that we saw along the way to Canberra? Well, we definitely ran into them again at the end of the night.
So on the way out, we completely forgot, or I forgot, that they're gonna close that entire mountain at 7 p.m. And so we were just in Canberra, like having some lunch, you know, hanging out with a friend, doing everything we wanted to do. We're on the way back, and we didn't realize until we got to the barrier that we were gonna make it with 1 minute to go.
Yeah, it was 6:59 and we had gotten to the roadworks as they were closing everything up. And I mean, we were really, really lucky, because had we gotten there any later, like I think we were going to stop off somewhere and get like iced coffees or something on the way home. If we had done that, we would not have gotten home when we did. We would have had to go all the way around.
Yeah, we would have had to detour for probably a good 2.5 hours at night after having driven already all day.
We were exhausted. Like that was the last thing we wanted to do. So yeah, you may have seen like the last clip you saw of us the evening that we drove home with our couch. It was so dark inside when we got home. We were exhausted, we were tired. We were keen to get the couch open so that we could sit on it and try it out at least for that evening. But yeah, we were done.
Yeah. We got home and we unpacked it and we sat on it for 10 seconds. We were like, oh, beautiful, so comfortable, bedtime.
Yeah, so anyways, now that we're here, we're on our couch, it's super comfy. It's time for our very last question, and it is a two-parter. So the last question is actually from Robin from the Nature Patch. You can find her on YouTube, she's really cool. So Robin's question is, what are some of your homesteading goals for the future, and what are you both most excited for? Good question. Well, one of our big goals was getting our pigs. So I feel like had you asked us that question a couple of weeks ago, we would have said pigs. But the next goal for me personally, and I think for both of us, is to secure a loan to actually get our own property and start moving onto it and building our dream from scratch for ourselves.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. Like everything that kind of crops up as it comes kind of naturally develops the goals that we're achieving. Like the pigs were circumstantial, they're just the best choice for us right now. So they became our short-term goal. But we've got goals left, right and center. We want to, you know, we really want to build a big and healthy homestead. So that leads into what Diane just said. Our big long-term goal is to get a property so that we kind of know what we're working with, and then we can plan our goals around what that's going to be.
Yeah. Something I'm really looking forward to that's coming up in the short term is actually our spring garden. We've just started winter. We've got 3 months to plan, to prepare, and then I'm so excited to take everything that I learned from last springtime and just start planting everything. I have saved seeds, I have bought seeds, like I'm ready.
For me, my
really exciting short-term goal apart from experiencing the spring garden, which is going to be awesome. I love coming home and just like seeing everything, like little things change every single day.
Oh yeah.
But for me, it's the next step with the pigs because I want to use them to help Diane achieve her short-term goals. The next step for the pigs is to get them out into the paddock, to get them electric fenced up, you know, trained to the bucket properly. We haven't tested that out yet, so that's going to be exciting.
That's going to be fun.
I also want to get them in where we want our garden beds to be, tilling it up for us, pooping on the ground, all that good stuff, so that when springtime does come, we've got nice fertile beds all over the place ready to go.
I love the pigs just give us an excuse to say pooping on our channel like all the time. And on that note, you guys, we hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been really fun to answer your questions and hopefully you've learned a bit about us and just got to know a little bit more about our plans and our goals for our homestead, but also our channel and what we want to share with you.
Yeah, if you guys have any more questions, just keep throwing them at us. Like it doesn't need to be a special event. We like to make it a thing, but yeah, anytime, throw us some questions.
Yeah, so if there's still anything you want to know, write them down below in the comments and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks guys.
Bye.